in the ongoing conflict. Well, viewers, those are the headlines and our top focus. US President Donald Trump has warned Chinese President Xi Jinping that he must understand the consequences of any military move against Taiwan, although he has refused to say if Washington would intervene directly. Meanwhile, Trump has stated that Taiwan has never even come up during his meeting with Xi Jinping in South Korea last week. When pressed on whether he would send US troops if China did hypothetically attack Taiwan, Trump replied by stating that you'll find out if it happens. And let's in fact listen into what he had to say.
They understand what's going to happen, and he has openly said, and his people have openly said at meetings, we would never do anything while President Trump is president.
China regards Taiwan as part of its territory, while the United States maintains a one-China policy, officially recognizing Beijing but supplying Taipei with defensive arms. With us on the broadcast is Dr. Satoru Nagao, fellow at the Hudson Institute, joining us from Tokyo. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. Interesting statement coming in from Donald Trump. There were, of course, a lot of concerns, especially on the Taiwanese side, as to whether Taiwan would even come up in the talks or not. Donald Trump ended up not raking the Taiwan issue whatsoever. Now he's come out and given an interview where he's given a very clear message to Xi Jinping. There are analysts who have sparked worries of China preparing to invade Taiwan. In your assessment, is this possible in the near future? And if so, what is the United States likely to do?
This is a statement to reply the last US-China summit. That time, despite two leaders of the United States and China talk about many issues, but in this case, there is no mention about Taiwan. So that's why the people worry about the U.S. stance toward Taiwan. There is a possibility they deal with something related with Taiwan. So that's why today the President Trump mentioned this is not true. There is no deal about Taiwan. The U.S. will protect Taiwan. If China invades, it will be a disastrous situation for China. So that is a statement to calm down this kind of concern towards the U.S.-China deal. So this is not a statement China is preparing to invade Taiwan just now. Of course, anytime they are preparing, but not just now. The situation is imminent. That's why President Trump said something. That's not the situation, I believe. I believe it's, in my analysis, this is a statement to calm down the concern related to the last U.S.-China summit, I think.
All right, so requesting you to stay on with us as we are tracking some further updates. In a report to Taiwanese lawmakers, Taiwan's defense ministry has stated that the delivery of all 66 F-16V fighters initially expected to arrive by the end of 2026 had been pushed back due to production line relocation and disruptions. The ministry has stated that in order to speed up production, contractors are working 2 shifts lasting 20 hours a day, adding that Taiwan will monitor progress in order to ensure contractual obligations are met. Now, the Defense Minister, Wellington Koo, has stated that US and Taiwan are working on the delays and that 50 of the Lockheed Martin aircrafts were already on the production line. Out of these, 10 are expected to undergo fighter tests at the end of this year and are expected to be delivered in 2026. The Taiwanese Defense Ministry has also highlighted that the delivery of 24 Mk-48 torpedoes and 4 dummy torpedoes initially expected by 2026 is now expected sometime between 2026 and 2028. The ministry has also reported delays in the delivery of Raytheon's AGM-154C joint standoff glide bombs. They were initially meant to be delivered by the end of 2026 but are now expected to be delivered sometime between 2027 and 2028. However, the ministry has added that the deliveries of the 29 high-mobility artillery rocket systems or HIMARS were ahead of schedule. Still with us on the broadcast is Dr. Satoru Nagao. Interesting statement coming in, the Taiwanese Defense Ministry laying out a clear timeline and also providing the reasons for the delays. There are supply chain, not just bottlenecks, but also production issues that the United States is facing, Lockheed Martin is facing, particularly as far as the F-16s are concerned. How crucial are these 66 F-16s for Taiwan, especially now that we're seeing incursions by the Chinese side into the median line, whether it is through the sea or through the air?
Yes, this is serious for Taiwan because Taiwan needs to strengthen their air power. And in this case, the latest fighter jet came from the United States is matter. And President Trump, the Trump administration tried to send these latest weapons to the Taiwan. That is true, I think, because the last agreement between the U.S. and Taiwan. But at the same time, recently, indeed, delaying supply of the weapon system is common in the world because of the surge of the demand in the world. For example, the Ukraine, the Israel, they use many U.S. weapons. And in this case, they try to build. But another concern is the supply chain to produce weapons. Because, of course, 30% of the parts of the U.S. weapons using the Chinese parts, including the rare earths came from China, and China tried to restrict this supply since the spring of this year. So, of course, there are the stock in the past, but stock has running out now. So, this means that the supply of the rare earths from China is very important affect to the weapon production in the United States. But that if such kind of situation really happen, this is not just a concern. This really happen. That is a very serious concern. So that's why delaying is something very important indication of the seriousness of the U.S. weapon production. And the view from Taiwan, currently the U.S. asked Taiwan to raise the defense budget. Despite this, the U.S. cannot provide enough weapons, even if the Taiwan promised to buy. View from Taiwan, Taiwan wants to ask the U.S. to pay more to buy the weapons. So that is the reason the Taiwan side say the complaint about it, I think, because of the money is also the matter indeed.
Indeed, sir. Requesting you to stay on with us as we're tracking further updates. U.S. President Donald Trump has responded to his recent